You ever notice how we like automatically connect exercise with weight loss? Like it's a given.
Right.
But you shared some research with us that suggests this might not be the whole story.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot more to it.
So we're about to take a deep dive into the surprising truth about exercise.
What's so interesting here is this really challenges something we all think we know. Like, it's so ingrained in our culture to think about burning calories for weight loss that we just kind of accept it as the main reason to exercise.
For sure.
But this research you sent over argues that exercise, while it's obviously good for us, may not be this magic bullet for weight loss.
Right.
In fact, it compares the lifestyles of the Hadza people in Tanzania. They are incredibly active.
Yeah.
They burn roughly the same amount of calories daily as those of us with desk jobs.
Really?
It's pretty counterintuitive.
That is really surprising.
Yeah, and this is where the idea of a calorie budget comes into play.
Okay.
Think of your body like a car engine. It needs a certain amount of fuel to run even when it's just idling.
I see.
Our bodies have a baseline calorie expenditure even at rest.
So you're saying our bodies are like determined to stick to this budget, no matter how many miles we're logging on the treadmill or whatever.
In a way, yes. Our bodies can compensate in subtle ways.
Like what?
You might find yourself being less fidgety during the day or feeling hungrier.
Oh, interesting.
It's not about willpower. It's really your body trying to keep things balanced.
So our bodies are way more complex than we realize.
For sure.
So if exercise isn't this like weight loss miracle we thought it was, what are the real benefits?
That's the question, right? While exercise may not be the guaranteed way to lose a ton of weight, the research shows it has other amazing benefits. It's like finding out your favorite superhero has a secret superpower.
Okay, I'm listening. Tell me more about these superpowers.
One of the biggest is that exercise can hit the reset button on our internal systems, especially when it comes to inflammation and stress.
So you're talking about chronic inflammation. I've heard that's linked to a lot of health problems.
Exactly. Heart disease, certain cancers, even mental health conditions.
Wow.
Exercise can actually help regulate your body's inflammatory response. It keeps those problems in check.
So instead of just worrying about fitting into smaller jeans, we should think about exercise as a way to calm down what's going on inside our bodies.
Exactly. And exercise can bring those stress hormones like cortisol back into balance.
Okay, so we're shifting our focus from exercise as like purely a weight loss tool to something that can help us manage inflammation and stress.
Right.
And that reminds me, this research you sent over also talks about like the evolutionary side of exercise and calorie consumption, right?
Absolutely. For almost all of human history, our ancestors didn't have it easy when it came to food.
Yeah.
They had to hunt and gather just to eat.
Right.
So they were using a lot of energy to get those calories, and food wasn't always easy to find.
Totally different from our lives now. We can order anything with a few taps on our phones.
It's true. Back then, if you were burning too many calories, that could be really dangerous.
Wow.
Yeah, saving energy was super important if you wanted to survive. The ones who were good at storing energy when food was around, they were the ones who lived longer and passed on their genes.
It makes sense.
Yeah, and it's pretty amazing when you think about natural selection, but it makes things interesting for us now.
So basically, we're hardwired to crave those calorie-rich foods, the ones that used to be essential, but now they're everywhere. It's not surprising that so many people struggle with their weight.
Exactly. Our biology hasn't caught up to our modern world, abundance and convenience, but our bodies are still running on that old programming.
It's like we haven't evolved out of it yet.
Right, and that's something that researchers are still trying to understand.
It shows just how complex our relationship with food and exercise really is.
For sure. Genes matter, but they're not the whole picture.
So should we just give up on exercise?
Not at all. This is more about changing how we think about exercise.
Okay.
It's not just about fitting into those old genes, it's about the impact it has on our health and how long we live.
So it's not about the number on the scale, but more about how it makes us feel inside.
Exactly. Exercise can prevent diseases. And I'm talking about serious stuff like heart disease, type 2 diabetes, some cancers, the list goes on.
It's easy to get caught up in wanting to see that weight loss right away, but those long-term benefits are huge.
For sure. And we can't forget about our mental health. Exercise can really boost your mood, lower stress, and help you think better.
It's like we all need our own personalized plan when it comes to exercise.
Yeah, and this research really highlights that. We aren't all starting from the same place.
Right.
Our genes, how active we are, even the bacteria in our gut, all of that can change how our bodies react to different foods and exercise routines.
So it's not just about going to the gym. It's about figuring out What works for my body? Maybe you should look into genetic testing or talk to a nutritionist.
Those are great options. Personalized medicine and nutrition are really taking off, and they could be really helpful for figuring out what's best for each of us.
Like having a personalized instruction manual for our bodies.
Exactly. And like any good manual, it needs updates, right? As we get older, change our environments, go through different phases of life, our bodies are constantly changing. What works at one point might not be the best thing later on.
This deep dive has really changed how I see exercise. It's not about a number on the scale or fitting into a certain size. It's about understanding how our bodies work and what makes us feel our best physically and mentally.
I love that. It's about thinking long term, our health and well being over time. And sometimes that means letting go of old ideas and trying a different approach, something more personalized.
This has given us so much to think about. Maybe someone listening will talk to a doctor, try a new workout, or just start paying more attention to their body and how it reacts to different choices.
I hope so. The more we know about our bodies, the better decisions we can make for our health and happiness.
It's a journey, and there's always something new to discover. Well, on that note, we'll wrap up this deep dive. This was really just the beginning, a look into this complex and fascinating connection between exercise and our bodies. Keep those deep dives going, everyone.